My name is Kiati. I am head of Joshi Advocates. Thank you very much for joining us today. And we have some amazing news. I don't know if you will remember previously in our video, no exit in Brexit, or rather loopholes in the EU settlement scheme. There was a caution there in terms of whether you submit an EU settlement scheme settled status application or permanent residence application. And we informed you that we have written to the MP, Mark Field, for Westminster. The next day, he emailed us saying that he's made representation to the Home Office, and we have the Home Office response. What is the Home Office saying? I'll let you see the letter in just 1 minute, but just want to talk you through it. But before we do, want to just clarify. The EA applications that were in place before the EU settlement scheme was introduced, so there is a juxtaposition into whether EA application forms are going to be used or whether EU settlement scheme online application should be used. As you know, both have starkly different requirements. The EEA application forms require the EA national to work in the UK or be self-employed or otherwise exercise treaty rights, worker, self-employed, self-sufficient or student. However, the EU settlement scheme does not require that, and we have it in writing. We will just look at the letter now and we'll go through it in detail. So thank you so much. Let's go. Okay, so this is the letter we received from Mark Field MP on the 29th of April 2019. The letter is saying, first paragraph here, rather the second paragraph, is saying that as long as the UK is part of the EU until 31st December 2020, EA nationals are still required to exercise their treaty rights, working, self-employed, self-sufficient or student. But the second paragraph then goes on to say that as UK is leaving the EU, I think 31st December 2020 as indicated there, arrangements are being made for the EA nationals and their family members to obtain a new UK immigration status document, and which is the EU settlement scheme, through which you can get the settled status or pre-settled status. So remember, we asked the Home Office through the MP that if the EA applications done in the second paragraph under the EA regulations require the European national to show he or she is working in the UK or exercising treaty rights, but the EU settlement scheme does not require that, whether that is in fact legal, because two applications using two different requirements are being applied at the same time. The Home Office here says because arrangements are being made to leave the EU 31st of December 2020, the EU settlement scheme is being introduced to allow EA nationals and their family members to obtain their new UK immigration document at their earliest convenience. It will provide them with certainty about their future rights and enable them to stay in the UK where they are now living. Interesting. Let's go to the next page where, let's bring that up nicely, where the Home Office is saying, first paragraph, the Home Office has implemented the settlement scheme through Appendix EU. Yes, excellent. Then they are saying that the EU nationals have to, under the EEA Free Movement Directive, have to work in the UK and exercise their treaty rights. However, as a matter of domestic policy, it has been decided that those applying under the EU settlement scheme for a UK immigration status document will not be required to show that they meet all the requirements of current free movement rules. For example, they will not be required to have held in comprehensive sickness insurance or generally to detailed exercise specific rights, such as right to work under EU law. The UK has decided that the main requirement for eligibility under the EU settlement scheme will be continuous residence in the UK. It's the last line here. Brilliant. Now that we have that in writing, that's perfect. Also, we have that in writing anyway in Appendix EU, but this clarifies it. This goes a bit further to say that yes, the EEA application forms are there because right now we are still part of the EU, but also in the alternative, should the EEA nationals wish to prepare for leaving the EU come Brexit, 30th of December 2020, by then they should have this document. But there's a slight concern here. Let's just go to the first page, which this paragraph here, the second paragraph, which says until the UK leaves the EU, the Free Movement Directive continues to be given effect in the UK via the Immigration EA Regulations 2006. So, yes, the EA nationals can have a settled status document, which is great. But it seems to say that at the same time, the EA nationals need to work in the UK as well. I think it's best that you guys out there who have obtained settled status because you're an EA national or a family member of an EA national, and the EA national has not exercised treaty rights, they have not worked in the UK, keep this letter, link in the description box below for your record, to say that you are lawfully resident in the UK, as the Home Secretary, Minister of State for Immigration, Caroline Noakes MP, has said in this letter, that you got the settled status document because it was intended to provide security, certainty for those staying in the country. I hope this has been helpful. If any concerns or any queries, as always, please contact us. Details below. Subscribe, and I will see you very soon. The bottom line still is apply under the EEA application forms rather than the EU settlement scheme. But thank you so much for joining. See you very soon. Thank you. Take care. Bye.